Hi, I'm Tawny,
And my name is Wayne.
and we're full-time content creators and social media marketers.
We've been brand ambassadors for Bluetti for over 2 years now.
Yeah, they were actually the first brand that we started working with when we set out on our first journey that we'll talk about in a little bit. After 4 years of being in the same program in college, we didn't end up meeting until after we graduated. And of all places, we met at a Halloween party.
It was a Halloween party that both of us were not supposed to go to. However, mutual friends of ours invited us to it.
And I'm really glad they did because after we met at that party, we were pretty much inseparable.
Yeah.
Our actual first encounter was a mummy rap game at that Halloween party.
The mummy wrap game included 2 partners where you had to wrap each other around with toilet paper, and the first person to finish the roll was the winner. And I was paired up with one of my friends, and Tawny was paired up with her friend, and all of a sudden Tawny taps me on the back and says, "Let's be partners."
So we swapped partners. My friend partnered with his friend and I partnered with him. And I guess he liked that because he wouldn't stop talking to me after that. And I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 days later we went on our first date. I remember thinking on our first date after I left, I was just like, wow, I can't believe I met a guy who's the exact same age as me. He has the same morals as I do, the same ambition, and he loves the outdoors and doing the same kind of things that I love doing. It was kind of crazy because it just seemed like everyone I had met up until that point, there were so many red flags, or just, I knew right away that he was right for me.
After our first date, I was extremely happy to have hung out with Tawny and finally met her in person. I've seen her on social media and in our classroom hallways for the last few years, and I never thought that I'd have a chance to hang out with her. So that fulfilled all my dreams.
I had no idea that he had noticed me all that time. We were on each other's social media, but we never actually met. It was just from mutual friends. So when he told me that, I was like, wow, that's crazy, because I obviously fell for him pretty quickly and pretty hard.
After our first date, we were basically inseparable, and all we could talk about is where we wanted to travel to next.
Our first trip that we did was it was less than a month after we first started dating. We already started planning our first trip. We went to Key West. We were planning on taking the Key West Express down to it, which is a boat ride that brings you down to Key West. But the morning that we drove to the ship, it actually got canceled because there was a storm.
Once we got to the marina, the captain told us that there was 10-foot waves, and I said there's no way that we're not going to go to Key West after we have everything booked. So we immediately turned around and hit the highway and made it there by car.
Yeah, we did. How long was that drive? Like a 6-hour drive?
6.5 or so.
So we took the whole day and just made a road trip out of it, and we had a really good time on that trip. Our first trip that we had planned, we were planning on going out west and hitting pretty much all the states out west, all the way to the coast, all the way up and down the coast, and everywhere in between. So we drove out, we spent a lot of time in Colorado and in Utah, also in Idaho, and we also stayed at some other places in between, but those were kind of the bigger ones that we loved. We got to do so much hiking and exploring, it was really fun. Our next one after that, we went on a cruise, and for our 6-month anniversary, Wayne surprised me with a skydiving trip.
I knew how adventurous Tawny was and that she always wanted to try skydiving, but I wasn't sure if she would actually go unless she was surprised into it or had the plane tickets booked.
Yeah, it was fun. It was actually a really cool experience, and I'm glad he brought me. It was my first time, so it was very enjoyable. That was one of the things that I loved the most about Wayne, is his sense of adventure. I loved how genuine he was, still is. I loved how kind-hearted he is, and when I first met him, I didn't think he was going to be such a softie, but he definitely is, and it really just melted my heart.
A few of the key attributes that I loved about Tawny was her braveness, her courageousness, and ability to bond with almost anyone and speak from her heart.
Aww. So one of the most unforgettable journeys that we've had during our relationship was actually later on, when we decided we didn't want to live a traditional lifestyle that everyone else lives. So we planned to renovate a camper, move into the camper, quit our jobs, and start traveling in our RV full time and doing content creation as we went. It was definitely a really kind of scary but exciting move, and we did it right after we got married too.
Yeah, before we decided to quit our jobs, we were doing wedding and engagement photography on the side, and that kind of led into when COVID happened. We got furloughed for a little bit, and we started realizing how much we enjoyed doing photography and seeing the results of the photos and how happy our customers were. So that led us to believe that we can continue to do what we love to do without working behind an office for someone else full time. That combined with the fact of knowing how much we love to travel is the reason why we started looking for a travel trailer camper.
Yeah, so after we finally moved into our travel trailer, we left our jobs. Bluetti was the first brand that reached out to us for content creation, and we loved the brand because we just moved into our camper, so we got to start making videos for these things that were huge, for the power banks that were a huge help to us on our journey. And we just love the brand, so we continued working with them, and it's been great. We were planning on continuing on to Wyoming and Montana when we randomly got an opportunity to move to Hawaii. So we moved to Hawaii and lived there for a couple months, and we left the camper behind for that, but we still were kind of living in a camping environment. We did some van life in Hawaii. It was very beautiful. The beaches were amazing. We got some really cool photos there, really cool photo opportunities, and it was just a very memorable time of our relationship and our lives. Like, that was probably one of the most wild times we've ever had in our lives, living really raw and just wild.
Our time out in Hawaii really helped us solidify what we wanted to do with the new year coming up, and has kind of fast forwarded us into this track that into the path that we're doing right now.
Yeah, so we decided we really wanted to kind of start our own investment like rental, vacation rental, and we wanted it to be glamping style. So we started building a glamping dome in the Smoky Mountains in North Carolina, and we've been in North Carolina for a little over a year now, but we plan on doing a lot more traveling this year once that's done. We're going to use it as a vacation home for ourselves and also rent it out while we're gone. But that kind of leads us into our 2023 aspirations. We really want to get our glamping dome totally finished, get to enjoy living in it for a while, and then head out on the road and continue to grow together in our photography, continue to find new places where eventually we might be able to make another vacation rental home or vacation home for ourselves. So that's kind of some of our bigger goals for 2023.
Some more of our goals are to continue inspiring others to live their dreams and travel more. We just love traveling so much. We think everyone should do it. It's good for the body, good for the soul, and your life is short. You should be able to enjoy it how you want to.
Get out and live to the fullest, and that's one of the reasons we love the vacation rental thing too, because we get to make a really cool glamping experience that other people are going to get to enjoy too. So they're going to take our tiny glamping living experience that we've been doing in our camper and get to do it in the mountains in North Carolina, which is a totally unforgettable place, cozied up in the mountains with beautiful views and just a nice atmosphere, totally in nature. So we'll get to share that with others.
And since we've been roughing it in a camper for the past 2 years, we've thought of all the bells and whistles in this glamping situation, so
it's luxury.
it's going to be a good experience and close to nature, and that's mainly what we want people to get in tune with.
Yep, sharing what we love with others. And that's totally what our goal is with our content too, and sharing our lifestyle. We just hope to inspire others. But on that note, we hope everyone has a beautiful Valentine's Day, full of love and joy, and spent with people that are closest to your hearts.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.